what do you think of when you hear the word rainbow? I'm serious. What do you think of? Maybe you're the outlier and you think Skittles, taste the rainbow. Or you're a Lucky Charms guy and your mind immediately goes to that happy little leprechaun and those delicious marshmallow shapes. In our day, it's the rare person who thinks of Noah and the sign given in Genesis 9. In verse 11, God says, I establish my covenant with you. And never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. Now he follows that in verses 12 and 13 stating, this is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. The problem with the NIV translation is that it doesn't say rainbow. In Hebrew, kasheth is the word for bow, as in bow and arrow, not rainbow. Now, granted, that's kind of where the idea of rainbows comes from, but when you see all those pretty colors, most of us aren't thinking of God hanging his weapon in the sky with which he just slew the earth. The rainbow was a sign of a warrior who said, I won't do that again. Not because we don't deserve it, but because God is merciful. Isn't it interesting that Revelation chapter 4 verse 3, the first description that we have of the one enthroned tells us the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and ruby, a rainbow that shone like an emerald encircled the throne. And just think about this. For a book that is supposedly about wrath and judgment, the first picture of the Almighty is about mercy. Mercy and, of course, some stones. Some of you are tempted to tune out. You're thinking, oh, aren't you going a little deep in the weeds on this? And the answer is not really. I mean, you think that's deep in the weeds? There is so much going on in this text. We just don't have time for it all. Okay, well, take for instance this. In verse 3, the appearance of the Lord speaks of jasper and ruby, right? In the Greek, it's jasper and sardinos, or as it's sometimes called, carnelian. I know, I told you, deep in the weeds, we're talking stones here. Why is it important? Because in Exodus 28, the priestly ephod, the first stone in the row is carnelian. The last stone in the final row is jasper. One of my favorite commentaries on Revelation suggests these two colors representing the whole of Israel in inverse order would point to the close connection between the one who sits on the throne and his people. This picture actually helps us to understand the Exodus passage better. Like, these stones weren't merely decoration on the priestly breastplate. They are tied to and reflect something of God's own beautiful identity. In Revelation 21, all the precious stones from the ephod are found in description of the walls in the great city. I'll spend more time on that, in a few years when we get there. In the meantime, what's the point? Does it really matter that we know that the jasper and carnelian are found on the priestly ephod? Does it make or break our understanding of Revelation if we miss this point? The answer is no, not really. On the other hand, details like this really do matter. Because number one, what they teach us is that the very best place to look for interpreting Revelation is not to the signs of the times in our day, but to turn back to God's word itself. Now, the second thing that a passage like this does is it invites us to slow down. Not to speed through to the action, but to imagine and contemplate with John this incredible multi-layered vision of the Lord. The best thing about John's apocalypse is not its predictive power in the things to come, but its unveiling of the glorious majesty of the Father and the Son. As a people, we need training to stop and behold. As we'll see next time, to learn to worship. Have a blessed week.